It's Friday night, which means it's time for another episode of the Friday Night Nicktoons Podcast. I'm Casey.
And I'm Ashley. Last time we discussed the Hey Arnold episode, Mr. Wynn Goes Country. I think that's the name of it, right?
Yeah, I always want to call it Mr. Wynn Goes Hollywood, which makes no sense. Oh, because we have Stinky Goes Hollywood.
Yeah. Well,
Yahoo Soda.
Just drink it.
We also put out our weekly Twitter poll asking which of these simple things do you like the most between spicy chicken wings, French fried onion rings, rain in spring, or summer breeze. And spicy chicken wings won out. I voted for summer breeze. If they had been mild chicken wings, I might have voted for it.
No, they've got to be those spicy wings. I voted for the spicy wings as well, so I'm with the slight winner there, yeah. But I don't know, it might have just been, I was hungry at the time that I was answering this, and I'm definitely feeling the wings more than I'm feeling the onion rings, so.
Yeah, it seems like most made that call, and I'm surprised 21% said the rain in spring.
Yeah,
It's kind of a bummer.
I'm not a huge Rain fan, but hey, if that's doing it for you, go for it, I guess. Honestly, this was a relatively even poll overall. Like,
Yeah.
I thought I thought Summer Breeze would win, honestly, but hey. People like their wings. What can we say?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, this week, guys, we're actually calling it, and I like it feels so nonchalant to say it, but this is the last episode of the podcast. We talked about it for a while. We've been trying to keep things going. I think you guys have probably noticed it with our completely inconsistent release schedule. That things have just gotten really crazy between the two of us, and trying to balance our schedules has just not really been working it out. And we've had an amazing run, but we think it's about time for us to leave while things are still, some amount together here. So leave while it's good.
Right. Yeah, but before we do that, we are going to watch 5 episodes of My Life as a Teenage Robot a day. And we will release 5 episodes per day of that. When we run out, we're just going to cycle back. No, that is a joke. This is not. I don't want to gaslight anyone here. Like, this is not a bit. This is not going to be a psych. We're done. This is it. And it's a bummer because we've got more Avatar, but as we reflected on it, we sort of realized that we've done what we set out to do, right? Like, we're starting to encroach on the amount of time we actually spent watching these shows growing up, which is very disturbing to me.
Yeah, and it's been a blast, and I mean, like, I hope you guys all keep watching Nicktoons. Like, I absolutely do not regret any of the time that I've spent on the show. I'm not like, it's not like we're like, you know what, we decided that Nicktoons are for losers. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just that it's come to its point, and again, our lives have gotten kind of chaotic, and it's become more effort than joy, I think. Is that fair to say?
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yes, and it's not to say it's been, even our recent episodes, like, it's not like we were miserable. They're fun when we do them. It's just it's hard to get it going. It really is. So and iTunes recently released more data, and our numbers are pretty good. They're better than I thought we would be. So we get like around 100 listens a week, which made me happy. I don't know.
No, that's pretty good. That's more than I would have guessed.
Yeah, so that ends up being like 10,000 total listens, which is pretty bonkers to think about.
Yeah, and I hope everyone knows, like, we still appreciate that you guys listen to it. And I'm sure there's plenty of you, too, that haven't listened to some of our earlier episodes. Like, we've got, how many hours worth of content for you to listen back at?
Let me get a look at what that final count is. 3.4 days it would take you to listen to all of us.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Plus this episode.
We've covered a bunch, right? Like, we've reflected back on things, and even, like, we were talking about doing our March Madness thing, our Nick Madness, and we don't really have a better thing. Like, I think the shows and the characters, like, we were going to do theme songs, but, like, I don't really think that's even, like,
It's just not as exciting. There was nowhere else to go with it, so it would have felt a little hollow trying to make that happen. That was part of it. I don't know, I would have liked to hit 200 episodes, but that would have taken a long time. So.
Yeah, I mean... It's just one of those things, and also to clarify, in case it's not clear from just the way we're talking, Casey and I are still friends. I don't want anyone to think this is like a huge like fight or anything. Like,
No, there was literally no drama. It was just I was messaging Ashley like, "Hey, when are we recording? When are we recording?" And I was like, "You know what? What if we didn't?" Like, that was pretty much the extent of it. It was very amicable. The breakup is civil, and I'm gonna get all of the even-numbered episodes that I introed, and Ashley's gonna get all of the odd-numbered ones.
Yeah, it's all gonna be okay. We've got it sorted. No lawyers needed. It's
Yeah, I get what's the word? Like, trademark of now let's get started. Ashley gets I don't know, what do you get? Twitter poll, the concept of Twitter polls.
I mean,
it's Friday night. No one else is allowed to say that anymore.
No, that's mine. That's mine, guys. I will, if I hear any of you saying it's Friday night without my permission. That being said, I realize we're probably a little too far into it, but we gotta say it, right?
Oh yeah, we gotta do our real intro. Yeah, we're gonna have a whole episode. We have nothing planned. We're just gonna do a long segment looking back. We've got a document open of all of our old stuff. We're just gonna think back, and I'll probably put in some nice little whole tone harp scale like you do when someone's remembering something in like an old movie. I'm just gonna do this because why not? Follow us on Twitter at FNN_podcast and Facebook, facebook.com/FNN podcast. Review us on Apple Podcasts so others can find the show, and make sure to check out our YouTube page and our new Instagram page.
Yeah, it's brand new. It will have about as much content as it does now. I mean, who knows? Maybe
I might. Just for, kicks and giggles, I might post a thing or two every once in a while.
There might still be some memes to be found, right? Like, we might retweet some random stuff. I don't know, guys.
Maybe we can make a Static Cling episode. Maybe,
that's true.
For the big events we do.
Yeah.
Who knows?
And we reserve the right, obviously, to bring things back if it ever feels right to do it. It just hasn't been feeling there. But yeah, maybe we'll do like an occasional thing when things matter, or like the It's a Wonderful Sponge. We'll probably trash it together so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we just know that, like, the next time you or I are on, like, a late-night show, like Fallon or something, and the inevitable question will come up, will you do an FNN reunion? And the crowd is gonna lose their minds, and we have to have an answer for them.
Yeah, it's all right. So let's get this going here. All right. With that, thanks so much for tuning in. Now let's get started.
From the Nicktoon Animation Studio in Hollywood.
All right, guys. This next episode comes from the Friday Night Nicktoons Podcast, and the episode is called "Nothing Ever Again Ever," and this aired on February 8th, 2019, which coincidentally is the day that my podcast ended.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites because it meant that my life got easier. Oh
my god. It really... In this one. God, this is going to be an insufferable episode, everyone. Just buckle up.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably honestly more for us than it is for you guys, but we're just going to do it.
But hopefully it's entertaining, and we'll bring back some old references that might make some of the hardcores happy.
I will say, too, because there was a point sometime last year where we were considering ending things. And then we changed the format and we brought it back. And I will say, like, at that point when we were going to end things, it felt really, really sad.
Yes.
It didn't feel like we were ready yet. And this is very different, I think, for both of us. I think we're at a point where, like, 127 episodes of Nicktoons content, and that is... We've done it, right? Like,
I will say this, when I counted us down and when we, like... It is tough. I've been sort of dreading it all day, like, because it really ends now. It's like, there's always that thought. It's like with a breakup when you're like, oh, well, what if we just... But no, I think we're on the same page. But you're right. We've more than doubled our podcast length since we almost called it quits,
Yeah, and I'm glad
or just about doubled.
I'm glad we kept going. I am. It's just... Like I said, life has gotten a little crazier since then. We've covered more and more since then. So it's not that we were struggling to find other episodes to watch, but there was less and less to get excited about. There was less that was like super new to us, right?
Right. And we thought Avatar would help, and it kind of did, but it also, like, I just wanted to go faster anyway, you know?
Yeah, and I think we'll still probably watch it, right? Like, I still kind of want to do a full watch through, so, like, I don't know.
Why don't we keep pushing through? Yeah.
For our own good. Maybe we'll tweet a hot take per episode or something. I don't know. I make no promises, but I don't know what the future of anything is, but yeah, it's just, it was a blast. I'm so glad we did it. There's absolutely no regrets on anything. It's run its course.
It's time. Yep, it's time. We started this. Okay, little history here. What was going on when we started this podcast?
I was in Spain. First off.
And I was still in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were in Spain. I was in college in my Evanston apartment. Current hot topics were Trump being the Republican nominee, Bernie Sanders versus Hillary. That's like all I remember from early 2016. But like, it's so weird that that's already like a different era.
Yeah, honestly, it feels like so flippin' long ago, and I think a part of me is gonna feel a little bit weird. Like, this podcast has been a part of our lives for so long, but I think it's just gonna be the right call here. I am looking through though, Casey. You know, we said we've done everything we set out to do, but we didn't cover a single episode of Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket. So.
And you know what's funny? I was looking at this list the other day, and so we have a document that's all of our shows, how many times we've watched each show, and then the years that show aired, just for context. And Pig, Goat, Banana, Cricket, I was looking the other day, and it said 2015 to present. I was like, I doubt that's still true. And it did get canceled last year, so... Now and Fairly Odd Parents ended. I didn't update that either. 2017. So 2 Nicktoons ended over the course of this podcast. And we only cover classics.
Yeah.
SpongeBob is now the only show running on this entire list.
Still wild to me that show's keeping it going, man. Probably too, like when SpongeBob eventually ends, maybe we'll get back. I mean, I don't know, like the bigger events, but.
And no sweet victory at the Super Bowl. That was
God,
infuriating.
you know, that's probably part of why I just didn't even have it in me anymore, right? Like, clearly,
if it had happened, you would have seen the light. Yeah,
I would have been like, we've got to talk about this. We've got to do something about this life. But no, I was really upset. It faked us out. Although I'm sure any of you who are on Reddit saw the hockey team that played the whole thing.
Wait, what? I didn't see it.
No? Okay, hold on.
Was it the Vegas Golden Knights? Because they would do something like that.
It was like at the top of Bikini Bottom Twitter.
I didn't see that one. Oh,
the Dallas Stars, that's what it was.
Oh, cool. Good on them. I've got to watch that.
It's actually really fun. They like edited the video to like make all of their costumes like match the colors of the team. Instead of showing like the stock images of like the crowd from that, they like showed the actual crowd right at the stadium and stuff. It was really fun.
That's great.
And I'll send it to you. You should watch it later. And anybody else, look at Dallas Stars Twitter. You can find it there. They tweeted out the hashtag Super Bowl halftime show fans deserve. So
that's incredible. That makes me so happy. I can't believe I missed that. Okay, a couple quick... So we started in May 2016. So a couple things. Captain America Civil War came out. The Angry Birds movie came out, if that doesn't take you back. The Loud House premiered the week before we did.
Oh, that's wild.
That's so interesting. And that they have outlived us, so congratulations to that team, except for the scumbag creator.
Right, but, you know... Still, I mean, we enjoyed what we saw of it, right? So
yeah, and we have friends there in the animation department.
Oh, right.
Friends of the pod. Yeah, that's about all I got for 2016, but obviously our lives have changed dramatically. I live in New York City now. I moved shortly after the podcast, and I'm still here, still doing it.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, I feel like you've just been in New York for, like, forever. Like, obviously you haven't, but, like, it feels like you've been there so long, right?
It
Like,
goes back and forth for me, because sometimes it's like, so in September it'll be 3 years, which isn't long at all, but part of me is like, oh my god, like, where did that time go? But then I think back to, like, when I first moved here and how different everything was, and it's like, okay, yeah, 3 years is about right.
yeah.
I mean, the Cubs were not World Series champions when we started this podcast.
Right. I moved into Chicago. That's been a thing. I guess that was pretty recent, though. That was, like, in May of last year, so not that that matters.
2 years after we started.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I guess I finished college. There was that whole thing, and
Yeah, we both graduated from college and got jobs.
yeah, which now takes up all of my life, but it's okay. Pays the bills. No,
Yeah.
we've done a lot, and I'm just like scrolling through. So I think you have the total. It's what, like 200.
Yeah, it's at the bottom. 232 pieces of Nicktoon media. That includes movies, that includes individual episodes. So I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, that's so much, and we covered a lot of shows. Yeah, we had the ones that we did more than others, right? Like Hey Arnold and SpongeBob are like pretty far up at the top there.
Yeah. More Fairly Odd Parents than I recall. I think it's just kind of forgettable at times. It's great.
But we did a lot, We got like 8 episodes of Rocko's. We got 11 episodes of The Angry Beavers. Like that's
and then we watched
solid.
all of season 1 together last summer. That was really fun.
Oh man, I can't believe we watched 6 episodes of Invader Zim. I would have guessed it was like 3.
I literally don't believe that. Oh, we did them all. Well, because we did an Invader Zim episode.
Back when we were still doing the 3 episodes.
So yeah, let's look at that. So our first Invader Zim episode was A Room with a Moose.
Was that an unsettling episodes or no?
No, it was Field Trips.
Ah, okay.
Remember, it's one where there's that like room with a moose in it.
Yes,
that's like very mysterious. Dark Harvest was the unsettling episodes. Was that the one with the brain?
It was like they were. He's harvesting some kind of
organs.
Yeah.
Then we did an Invader Zim special because it won a Twitter poll, I think. And then we did one more in conspiracy characters, because that was a great episode.
That really was.
That was smart. We did Crocker, Crocker, Simon from All Real Monsters, and then Dib, all of whom are, they seem delusional but are actually correct.
Yeah, it's actually really, really cool how many parallels there were between those 3 guys. Man, we did some fun stuff, and
I miss the themes. They became untenable, but they were fun.
Yeah, again, it was one of those things that it was good for when we started, right? To have those themes, and I do think that kind of helped facilitate some interesting discussions, and I think the 1 episode format was the right way to go.
Yes.
For us to keep it going as long as we did, but yeah, the themes were definitely fun. That some of them I think were a little bit bigger stretches than others, right? But
yeah, and thanks to like Allie the writer and Norbert for giving us lots of episode concepts too, and I think
Patricia,
a quick listener shout out. I'm gonna forget someone and I'll feel awful, but like between like Cam, of course, and Andrew Wimpy, Allie the writer, Patricia, Aaron, Norbert, Allie. And then we had our kind of weird in between people as well, like Barry. We've had a fun little community throughout here. Marlena, still not sure. Celeste, of course. Just a good crew. You guys have been with us for a while, and we appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's been, fun to hear your guys' thoughts and your guys' memes and everything that we've gotten throughout the time, but hopefully you guys aren't too broken up about it. I think, like I said, you guys have certainly noticed, I'm sure, that, again, just the inconsistency in our scheduling, and I'm guessing part of that makes this maybe a little less shocking.
Right. And I also want to give a quick shout out to our guests that we've had on, who include Ray, multiple times, of course, Allie the writer, pretty recently, and Max, my former roommate.
My brother, Josh, the J-Witz.
Josh, that was a fun one. That was one of the highlights of last year.
Absolutely.
For the podcast. Party Wagon, that was a good time.
What a trip, honestly. That was great.
And then we had to have had another guest at some point, right?
Yeah, I'm
Patricia.
Totally forgetting.
We had Patricia a few times.
Yeah. I feel like there's somebody else, but
That might have been it. I'm gonna feel bad, but we've done so many episodes.
so it's hard to remember them all. So if anybody is realizing somebody that we've missed, let us know so we can, at least throw out a little like, oh hey, sorry.
Yeah, so Norbert came up with the roller coasters concept. Allie came up with the fine dining. Ray filled in for the substitute teachers one. We used a Norbert time travel concept. We used Allie's Dear Diary. That was a really good one. Cam suggested the Teenage Robot Victim of Fashion episode. We had Allie on for Danny Phantom. We saw the SpongeBob musical on Broadway. That was really fun.
That was so much fun.
God, so many memories. I have one quick exercise. On the count of 3, we're both going to say our favorite episode, just off the top of our heads, that we've watched on this show.
Oh, okay. Oh, shoot.
Our favorite Nicktoon episode.
Can I do
top
a quick
of your
scroll? Because, I am blanking on everything.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Arnold's Christmas.
Hello Stranger was the one that I scrolled through, but Arnold's Christmas has got to be up there. You've all heard my 1,000,000-minute rant.
It's still my favorite. I
perfect.
finished my Hey Arnold watch through recently, and that one still moved me so deeply.
It's so perfect. It's so it's a little over the top in places and a little unrealistic and everything, but you're so okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Me, the skeptical scientist that I am, was very okay with giving up some of my, skepticism, and partially too because it's, it's the holiday spirit. But man, if you just watch that episode every year, I feel like it would never get old. It's a classic.
Right. We also, this is sort of a funny memory going off of the skeptical scientist. Ashley and I, over all 2.5 years of this show, had this hilarious thing where Ashley would struggle to recall annoying little details that I would remember, and I would struggle to remember basic plot points that Ashley would then remember. So it worked nicely that we would complete each other in that way. But I'd be like, oh yeah, so when Jenny is playing third string quarterback and she's wearing this and so says this, what was going on in that episode?
Yeah, it's been a fun amount of banter. And honestly, I think part of things too, Casey's I would be excited to catch up with you, and we'd be talking and stuff, and I'd be like, oh right, that recording thing, I guess we should do that too.
Right, yeah, it would take us an hour or two sometimes to even start recording, or we'd start talking about the episode because we're excited about it, and then we're save it for our art. Because you'd always be afraid you'll waste a good nugget for the podcast when we're not recording.
Yeah, but yeah, it's been good. It's been good. Said really, no regrets on anything. It's I've had such a good time, and thank you, Casey, for coming up with the idea in the first place and for putting up with me and my my scheduling nightmares for as long as we did.
Yeah, it was it was trying at times, but I completely agree. I don't have a single regret, and We did some cool stuff, and we produced 3.5 straight days of us talking, which is a feat in its own right.
Yeah, and, I think I am going to miss it, but it's, like I said, we always reserve the right that if life puts us back in a place where we're missing Nicktoons again, and I think maybe that's part of it, too, is, like, when we started the podcast, we hadn't watched Nicktoons in a long time, and it, like, brought back all this nostalgia for a while, right?
Yeah.
And now it's becoming almost maybe a little too regular, right? Like,
right.
Maybe I'm watching Nicktoons more frequently than I'd like in some ways for me to really appreciate it. Does that make some sense?
Yes, and the nostalgia has been fully replaced for me almost, where like I'll see a reference to an episode and instead of, I remember watching that on cable TV as a 10-year-old, I think, I remember when Ashley and I watched that.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be the nostalgia now. If I hear Nick, I won't think, oh, my childhood. I'll think, oh, that thing I edited at the end of all the episodes.
Absolutely. It's just...
Which is good. It's a good nostalgia.
Yeah, it
I'm glad
is.
we did it. And our mantra throughout all of this has always been that we want to help. The term I've settled on lately is like keep the spark alive. The sort of, no matter what age you are, keeping the energy and excitement and wonder of childhood through your entire life. And this really helped me do that in a lot of ways. And I don't really need it anymore.
Yeah, and I think we'll probably still try and watch Nicktoons every once in a while, but maybe a little less frequently. Maybe, like I said, a little less than once a week, and a little less formally, too. I think sometimes
Yes.
taking the notes...
it becomes homework.
Yeah, it felt a little less magical in certain times, right? Like, it was a little less casual, because you'd have to, like, write down quotes of different things and try to, like, get all these pieces down, instead of just, like, watching. So I think in some ways, and I don't want it to sound like I was, like, miserable by any means, but there was just times where it was a little more job, a little less fun than maybe at the beginning.
I think of when we watched Angry Beavers Season 1 in, like, 2 sittings and just how relaxed and great that was. And it'll be nice to have that be my Nicktoon experience again. And with all the knowledge we have now, like, I have learned so much about, like, the production side of things. I've realized what makes a good cartoon episode and what doesn't, and learned a lot about storytelling and music. Like, I'm a Story Pirates improv pianist, as I've talked about, and I draw on Nicktoon stuff so much. Like, I just think, what would Guy Moon have put here in, like, a Fairly Odd Parents episode? And that helps me. So it's helped me in my own job, which is wild.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say, too, I think we've seen, at least for the most part, the best episode of each of these shows that we've watched.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, I think we have seen, per your guys' recommendations and our research and everything, I think, not that there's nothing great that we're missing, because I'm sure there is, but I think we've seen the best of everything that we've aired, so
we better have, after how many things we've watched. But you're right, yeah, between recommendations and our own parsing through, there are few episodes. Did we ever cover Shanghai? We totally did. Yeah. We've.
So, like,
what else is there?
I mean, basically, we got it covered, guys.
Who needs to finish Avatar? Which I do feel bad about, that we set up this whole we're gonna watch it all, but we said at the beginning, like, we might not make it.
Yeah, and at first it was, like, super exciting, but then it was almost like somehow, like, too infrequent, like, that the every other week thing was kind of throwing things off, but also, like, the idea of doing it every week sounded like too much. I don't really know, but it was... I still want to watch the rest of the show, and I encourage anybody, hopefully, anybody who is watching along with us, keep watching, keep getting through it, because it is absolutely worth an entire watch through. And I do like the idea of kind of taking it slow and watching it piece by piece still, but, life has just gotten hectic, to the point that it's like, things, like, the free time that you have, making it feel like work, and again, like, taking notes and setting up specific times and schedules for it, just wasn't bringing the same joy that we had back when maybe our lives were a little less crazy. So
Yeah, I was coming home from like a 16-hour day last week thinking about like, okay, can we squeeze it in tonight? And I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah, like that's right. Like,
what the hell is this?
I'm like traveling for work. I'm on site. I'm like, well, so I'm gonna be on site until whenever, and then we're gonna go straight out for dinner, and I might be back at the hotel at like 11. So like we can try
like almost
all the time.
I've like been just shy of asking you, like, can't you just record on the plane?
Because like I'm like, well, and like part of it too. It's like when I do then have a break, it's like it feels like, oh man, now I have a thing scheduled for that time that I just want to decompress.
Yeah,
so
I feel that, and I have, really, fortunately, only worked more and more since I moved to the city. So, which is a good thing. It's what I want. It's my career. It's my life. But like, that's continuing, and it's fingers crossed, only going to continue, which will just make this harder and harder especially when our schedules conflict. That's the biggest part of it. We both have free time. We're human beings, but it rarely overlaps.
Yeah, and again, it's like it's hard to find when the right piece of that free time is going to be, because sometimes it's like the sound of having to finish my work and then get straight to this and it'll be great, and then like I finish work and I just like need to go to sleep, like I need a nap, like, and it's just stuff happens, guys.
But you all get it at this point.
Like I said, this is more for us than you at some point.
And we've reminisced before, so it's not like any like, okay, Nick Madness is SpongeBob won, and then Zuko won against Aang. Like those were really good times, especially that first Nick Madness when you came in and we went to the March Madness game, the real one, and
that was a great game too.
That was just a magical week. We had a wonderful opening night. Just that whole week was so perfect.
That's honestly one of the best weeks of my life. Easy. Like,
me too. Yeah, me too. And the podcast was a big part of that.
Oh man, there's so many things that like realizing, because I was still in school then. I didn't have this job yet.
Wow.
Man, that's wild. So much has happened though.
Sure.
I don't know how much else we have to say at this point. Again, we're getting probably a little repetitive for you guys, but I'm so happy we did this. Again, I really want to make sure everyone knows there's no hard feelings. We're both leaving this in a good place, and I think we wanted to make sure we would leave it in a place that we felt good about where we were going. And can we just say the simple things being our last episode? It's really like the fame was just becoming too much, and I just wanted to go back to the simple things of just watching my Nicktoons on my own and not having the pressure of performing. So
that's hilarious. That is, we are going to stick right here and keep the simple things, aren't we?
Yeah, so it seems fitting. One of our favorite shows, if not our favorite show, I guess there's Avatar in that whole debate, but still one of our absolute favorite Nicktoons, and one of the most heartwarming episodes that we could end it on. So,
with our favorite Nicktoon. Yeah,
and man, it's just been a blast, guys, and thanks for hanging on for the ride. And again, if Static Cling ever happens, we might be back for it. We'll see. I don't really know if I have anything else to say.
With all that being said, I think should we head to the conclusion one last time?
I guess as much as we can, right?
All right, let's do it.
Well, our Twitter poll this week is nothing. We've got nothing for you.
You've got all our social media.
You know what? Hold on. Here's who do you side with in the breakup? Casey, Ashley. Let's go.
That's good.
I'm messing.
All right, and so what do we have on the schedule for next week, Ashley?
Doing whatever it is that we do with our lives that's not this podcast, I suppose.
Magic Conch Shell, what should we do for FNN 128?
Nothing. We still have our social media. I guess you can find us there. There's Twitter, there's Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. there's a Instagram or something.
But I do hope you guys don't take our aloofness as like a lack of seriousness about this, because we really do care a lot about it, and we're going to miss all of you and all the interaction we've had with you guys, and that won't end. I'm still on Twitter. You all know how to contact us, but and hopefully we'll keep doing stuff. I half joked that like we're going to become Animal Crossing streamers and like just make our money that way. So
I promise you, we will be playing Animal Crossing.
If we can figure out how to stream it, let's do that, because that would be really fun.
But yeah, no, I don't want it to seem like it's something we don't care about. This isn't, again, it's not a decision that we made because we were like, well, screw it, this thing's a waste of, like, it was just the right thing to do.
And we both definitely use humor to lighten
absolutely
more difficult things. And this is hard. I'm definitely just dragging it out at this point, because I know as soon as I stop recording, it's done.
Yeah, and it's going to hit. It definitely will. Again, it does feel easier this time around than the first time, though, that we were, like, it feels more ready to say goodbye to. And I am going to miss it. I think there'll probably be, like you said, like the breakup thing. Like, there's going to be, like, a couple of times where I'm like, man, can't we just go back to, do we give it another shot? But we're not going to toy with you guys.
We gotta wait till we're like 50 and we're like in a bar, and I'm like, what if we got the gang back together one last time?
Yeah, I think it would have to be. I'd have to be nostalgic for my childhood shows again. Like something would have to happen. It would have to be at least a while down the line where I'm like, I really miss that. And we love you guys. We appreciate all the support, all of the memes, all of the everything. And
all the nagging. You guys sure know how to nag.
Oh man. But it's
we can say that now without repercussions. No, you guys are wonderful.
No, it's just, thanks guys for holding in with us, and I know too, like I said, with our schedule and getting less consistent, I'm sure it was frustrating for you guys sometimes too to not have constant content. So it's kind of in fairness to you guys too that we're saying, like, we're not going to promise like what we can't promise anymore, right? Like we kept saying, like, we'll get back on schedule, we won't miss weeks, and we've been missing weeks all the time, more and more frequently. So all right, this is the longest conclusion of all time at this point.
Yeah, we've had some long ones.
That's true.
It's up there though. All right, well, I don't know what to say for the final line. It is recontextualized now. You know what? It's still true in spirit. Anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, just thanks for the times, guys, and we'll stay in touch.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.